Hi, my name is Logan, and I want to talk about when I was growing up, my parents really loved to listen to the Chinese radio, and particularly people's commentary. So people will call up to these radio stations and say like their recommendations of cooking and cleaning and medical solutions, especially alternative Chinese medicines, which is very popular in the Asian community. In particular, their references. I know my grandparents also love to listen to Chinese radio, so they would say, "Oh, Logan, you should eat this blueberry. It's gonna make your blood better." So I'm like, okay. Or in Chinese, I don't know how to say blueberries in Cantonese, but you eat blueberry, we probably bullshit. So I'm like, what? Anyway, that applies to many foods. Sometimes I will have a rash, and then the solution my mom will say is, "Oh, it's because you're not eating any meat right now." And I'm like, what? Anyways, these claims by parents here on the Chinese radio are often very ridiculous, I think. And I was thinking, I always like to make fun of them, and like, man, I could just call up the Chinese radio and be one of those testimonial people and say, "Oh, you could do this, like cutting the tree in half will help improve the yield of apples." I don't know. And then my parents will believe it. So, I think Chinese radio is kind of ridiculous if you ever listen to it. But that's a nice little quick thing about Chinese radio and a little bit about nutrition. I find them ridiculous. And I want to go off on a tangent, and for people who are growing up or grew up like me, when I was growing up, you'll hear particular math teachers say, "Oh, you should do the math right, or else if you're an engineer, you'll design a bridge and then the bridge will collapse." But you don't see the same amount of integrity applied to people in the medical field, in particular the pharmaceutical medicine, where you have side effects of drugs. So sometimes your drug works, sometimes your drug does not work for everyone, and if the drug does work, there are possible side effects like nausea, vomiting, rashes, diarrhea, or sometimes even death. So, there's not the same level of integrity between engineers and like pharmaceutical things I see. Like if you cause someone's death with your pharmaceutical drug, it's totally okay as long as you put a disclaimer on it. So let me know your opinions about the integrities of these pharmaceutical medications versus engineering people, and or the Chinese radio topic, which I just talked about a little bit before. Alright, thanks for watching. If you like it, you could give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, you could give it a thumbs down. If you like it, you can also press subscribe. And I try to make a video every week or so, but that might change in a few weeks because I am going to be starting school back in UCLA. So it's going to be my senior year at UCLA, and that should be a great time because I like working 8 hours a day. I hate school.